I'm here at the overseas call centre of a large insurance company. With me is customer service team leader Mr. Bolte. Mr. Bolte, how easy is it to provide great insurance service to your customers?
Well, we're on another continent. You can never get through. We've no idea who you are, and we're only allowed to work from a script with the information on the screen in front of us. Frankly, you'd be better with High House.
High House Insurance, your local experts. High House Insurance don't pay to be on comparison websites, so your premiums are better value. For a free, no-obligation quote, call Selsey 606 552. High House, local, reliable insurance. High Street, Selsey.
Hi and welcome once again to Manhood Internet Radio. My name's Keith Barnes, and firstly I'd like to say a great big thank you to Tony Weiner and to John Mullet for producing the past couple of weeks' shows and making the most of a bad situation that I left them in because I forgot to leave them with the quiz answers, but we'll be coming up with those later on in the programme. Right, to get along with this week's podcast, we're going to start with What's On, and that's our weekly look at what's on in and around the area for the coming week. And over in Bracklesham, at Bracklesham Barn, there's a whole host of stuff going on. And just to run through some of it for you, on Mondays there's Vinyasa Flow Yoga. That starts at 9 a.m. until 10 a.m. and that costs £8 per session when committing to the whole course, or £10 if you just want to drop in and do it. And the courses are run during school term times only. Now, also on Monday there's Little Ducklings Toddler Group. That's 9:30 a.m. till 11 a.m. and you contact Nikki Holes for that. There's Short Mat Bowls, that starts at 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. There's Yoga Fit, that's 7 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. And there's Ladies Kickboxing, and that's also from 7:30 p.m. till 8:30 p.m. And that's Mondays. Now on Tuesday, well, there's loads of other stuff going on Tuesdays. There's the Little Explorers Play and Learn Together, and that's 9:30 a.m. until 11 a.m. Gentle Yoga and Relaxation at 10 a.m. till 11 a.m. Love Laughter, 11:30 a.m. until 12:30 p.m. And there's also, on a Tuesday, Badminton, and that starts at 7:30 p.m. until 11 p.m. So if you're a badminton player, you can get over there and do that. And there's also Pilates, and that's 7:30 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. and that's on Tuesdays. Now, on Wednesdays, well, we have table tennis from 10 a.m. until 12 p.m. and that's a drop-in session, so you can just turn up there and play, and it's only £2 and it's adults only. And we have gyrokinesis, and that's from 11 a.m. until 12 p.m. and you need to contact Jen Lee for that. And there's Heart Space and Enrich Your Life Through Self-Expression. That's 1:30 p.m. until 3:30 p.m. My old favourite, belly dancing, 1 p.m. until 2 p.m. The Short Mat Bowls at 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. Zumba with Louise at 6:30 p.m. until 7:30 p.m. And there's the Sweat Zone, 8 p.m. until 9 p.m. That frightens me to death, the thought of that. And that's just £2 a session for the Sweat Zone. And on Thursdays, there's the Busy Bugs Toddler Gym, and that's 9:15 a.m. until 12:15 a.m. and you can contact Anna Milliken West about that. And there's the Thursday group, and that's the first Thursday of every month from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m. And that's games and chatter, tea and biscuits, and hear from guest speakers about a number of varied topics. There's also an art class for children. That's 4:30 p.m. until 5:30 p.m, which I think is a great thing. And then there's Seen It, which is the film course, and that's first Thursday of every month. Doors open at 7 p.m. and the film starts at 7:30. Now on Fridays we have Vinyasa Flow Yoga again with Lou, and that's 9:15 a.m. until 10:15 a.m. And in the afternoon at 2 p.m. until 4 p.m, there's Short Mat Bowls. Saturdays, of course, at Bracklesham Barn are reserved for wedding receptions and private functions, so there's very rarely anything public happening there on a Saturday. And on Sunday, you've got the Windrush Church Fellowship Group, and that starts at 10:30 a.m. until 12 p.m. And you can contact Pastor Andy Stevens about that on 01243 673 132. Now, for any other information on what's going on at Bracklesham Barn, why not have a look at their website, which is www.brackleshambarn.co.uk, and you can find out all the information you need on there. And over in Selsey on Thursday the 19th of May, Link, that's Ladies in Contact, have their meeting at 7:15 p.m. at St Peter's Church Hall, and the speaker there is Margaret Mould, and it's all about quilting, and new members are welcome. On Saturday the 21st of May, there's a May Fair and a tabletop sale at the Methodist Church, and that's 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. And there'll be some maypole dancing, refreshments, loads of stalls, and that's free entry, and everyone's welcome to a great fun day. Also on Saturday the 21st of May, in the evening, at the Royal British Legion Club, there's a disco, and new members are always welcome there. On Sunday the 22nd of May, is Medbury Guided Walk, and that's you join the RSPB guides for a walk around Medbury as the skylarks fill the sky with song overhead and warblers and buntings compete for the reed beds and hedgerows and waders nest on the pools. Wonderful, eh? And that's 9:30am until 12:30pm. You meet at Ernley Car Park, and the reference for that is PO27JL, or I should say the postcode for that. And you meet there at 9:20am. It's £7 per person, or £4 for RSPB members, and booking is essential. And also on Sunday the 22nd, there's a quiz night at Selsey Royal British Legion Club, and once again, new members are always welcome there. And that's it for what's on for this week. We go across now to Tony Weiner, and Tony's going to be telling us about the Selsey Walk-In and Outdoor Festival that's about to come upon us. Tony.
Hello, Tony Weiner here for Manhood Internet Radio. I've been asked to give you an overview of the Selsey Walking and Outdoor Festival, or SWOF as people call it, which is a series of events during the week of Monday the 23rd of May to Monday the 30th of May, so around the late May bank holiday. The beauty of the Manhood Peninsula seems to be a secret to many outside of the area. As one of the principal towns, Selsey is set in a wonderful location and offers close access to some of the top wildlife destinations on the south coast. I wish I could say it properly. The top wildlife destination on the south coast. It lies between two fabulous RSPB nature reserves, one being at Pagham Harbour and the other at Medbury, and via a series of linked paths is only a stone's throw from the area of outstanding natural beauty at Chichester Harbour. As an unspoilt fishing town, Selsey boasts a wealth of history and local character which the Selsey Walking and Outdoor Festival, SWOF if you remember, seeks to help people explore. Selsey also boasts some of the finest diving in the UK, which can be experienced on the underwater events. This is unique probably to the Selsey Outdoor Festival, whilst the flat terrain and designated off-road routes make the festival cycle ride a great family event, as indeed does the parent and toddler outings. Now, building on the experience of previous years, along with recommendations from participants, the organisers have arranged a series of events which have an interesting theme, so you can take a bit of exercise and learn something of the area at the same time. Whoops! Now, some people get frightened when they hear the word exercise, but fear you not. You don't have to be super fit for any of the events, and probably some say not fit at all. And there's a range of distances for the events from a few yards to a few miles. Well, I guess you probably think, what the heck is all that about? So what kind of things can SWOF tempt you with? Well, starting on the 23rd of May, there is a short trail for toddlers and their parents organised by the Selsey Children and Family Centre, who will also provide a snack and refreshments. This is a lovely opportunity to introduce youngsters to nature and also allow parents to socialise. Also on the 23rd, Selsey's very own Mulberry Divers will take you on a snorkelling adventure. There is a wealth of fascinating marine life living on and around the groins, and this is an amazing opportunity to snorkel with the experts. The great thing is that no experience is necessary. Go on, book now. You cannot live very long in Selsey without hearing about the history of the Selsey Tramway, which ran from 1897 to 1935. On Tuesday the 24th of May, there is a leisurely walk along the tramway from Selsey to Chichester, which is about 12 miles, with a stop for a picnic en route. On the evening of the 24th is one of my very own favourite events, where Dr. John Mason from the South Downs Planetarium will take us along the shore for an hour or so, giving us an expert lead on the night sky. This was a great success last year, and many asked for it to be repeated, so here it is. Wednesday the 25th of May is an opportunity to explore the new RSPB site at Memory, where one of the RSPB experts will lead us through the reserve, pointing out the wildlife, which has very quickly colonised the new habitat. New for this year is a Nordic walking taster. No, me neither. This is where people walk with poles, and advocates say allows them to walk longer and quicker, so getting fitter. SWOF have a Nordic walking expert who will show us how it is done and what advantages it offers. This is a short walk to experience Nordic walking, and poles will be provided you pre-book. Moving on to a different theme, in 1920, Jacob Berg, whose dependents are still in the village, bought land to the east of Selsey, which he then divided into 50 plots and placed railway carriages on them to be let for holidays. These were subsequently sold, and many of them have been converted into fascinating houses. On Thursday the 26th of May, a local historian, Dr. Bill Martin, who researched the development of the venture, has agreed to lead an event around Selsey, pointing out some of the fine examples of the houses and their history, including where Sir Winston Churchill held secret wartime meetings and the suspicious liaison between Prince Edward and Mrs. Simpson took place. They certainly didn't need super injunctions in those days. This is a fascinating piece of research. A informative brochure has been produced, which can be obtained from Selsey Library. Friday the 27th of May is very much Nature Day. In the morning there is a snorkeling your way to fitness. Did you know you can burn about 300 calories in 45 minutes? Me neither. So it's a very low cost way of getting fit. In the afternoon of the 27th, we are excited by our very own Owls About Town agreeing to show us their collection of owls. The owners are madly passionate about the birds and will give a fascinating talk about them. They are absolutely gorgeous birds, that is the owls, although I don't want to be rude about the owners, and the owls are all named after politicians. Can you think why? It's at the event. Later on in the evening of the 27th, we have a bat hunt. This was hugely popular last year, and we were amazed by the number of bats in the area, swooping and diving for their dinner. Saturday the 28th, we have contemplative walking. What's that, I hear you say, as I did? Well, look at the website, www.swof.co.uk. That's www.swof.co.uk to find out more. Also on the 28th, there is a walk to discover the history of the land settlement programme, which aimed to improve employment opportunities, but had a dark and very sad side, whilst opening up horticulture in the area. Sunday the 29th of May sees the only cycling event this year, with a leisurely ride from Selsey to Itchenor and back along the cycle tracks. A great opportunity to meet fellow travellers, learn about the routes, which you can then repeat in your own time. Also on the 29th, Dr. Jill Sutcliffe from the Manhood Wildlife and Heritage Group will take us on a wildflower exploration around Pagham Harbour Nature Reserve. This is a lovely opportunity to learn about the local flora on a Sunday afternoon. Well, this is just a taster of the events between Monday the 23rd of May and Monday the 30th of May inclusive, which also includes the bank holiday. So if you want to know more, there is of course a website, there has to be, www.swof.co.uk. There's a Facebook page, Selsey Walkfest. There are brochures which can be found at the Selsey Town Hall, the Selsey and Chichester libraries, as well as shops around the area. Bookings can be made at the Selsey Town Hall in person or on 01243 605803. That's 01243 605803. Or you can book online at www.ticketsource.co.uk/Selsey Walkfest. That's www.ticketsource.co.uk/Selsey Walkfest. Bookings are not necessary except where transport or equipment is required, and full details are in the brochure or website. Well, that's a lot to take in, but I urge you to try a few events and get to know the area, and also meet some great and friendly people. So, with that, it's bye from me, Tony Weiner, and back to the studio.
Well, thanks for that, Tony. I do apologise once again for last week and the week before. Just a little mistake on my part. I was so happy to be rushing off to the sunshine. Right, well, in an effort to right the wrongs of the past couple of weeks, I'll now read out the questions and answers for the 2 weeks' quizzes. And, of course, we'll have another quiz from Kevin a bit later on. And the first one this week is, it was last week or the week before, actually, has 8 questions. And they are: who played Jim Royal in the Royal Family? Who was the original voice for Mickey Mouse? Who was England's goalkeeper in the 1966 World Cup final? What part did Buster Merrifield play in Only Fools and Horses? Which city has the oldest underground system in the world? What 5-letter word is a name for a female goat? In Britain, it is thought lucky to see a person of which traditional profession at a wedding? And finally, who starred in the US TV series Diagnosis Murder? And the answers are Ricky Tomlinson, Walt Disney, Gordon Banks, Uncle Albert, London, Nanny, Chimney Sweeps, and Dick Van Dyke. And the connection, of course, is the film Mary Poppins. And the answers to last week's quiz, and that's if they've got it right. You know, when I'm not here, they may not, but there you go. And question 1 was, Melton Mowbray is famous for making which food? And that's pork pie. Which Hanna-Barbera cartoon is set in Hoagie's Alley? And that's Top Cat. Which Central American country is bordered by Costa Rica and Colombia? And that's Panama. In the USA, on a car, they call it the hood. What do we call it? And the answer to that is the bonnet. And which cartoon strip by Red Smythe appeared in the Daily Mirror between 1917 and 1998? And that was, of course, Andy Cap. And even I could have got that one. The connection is hats. Well, I do apologise once again for that. I assure you that you'll get the answers to this week's quiz, which will be coming along later, next week. Oh, I have Joan in the studio with me now. And Joan's going to be telling us a little bit about what Selsey Town Council is spending some of its money on, or giving it away even.
First round of grant funds distributed to community groups in August 2015, Selsey Town Council announced that they would be launching a grant fund worth £350,000, using the money released by the surrender of the lease on land at Driftfield to benefit the local community. The fund received 24 applications from community groups and members of the public, and 8 of those were approved. The successful bids are Sports Dream £100,000 towards the provision of a joint clubhouse for the cricket and football clubs to act as a sports hub for the community. Snack Shack £25,000 to help support the running costs of their youth drop-in service. Selsey Carers £21,250 to support their running costs for the Information and Support Centre. Selsey Scouts £20,000 to install stair lifts to make their building accessible to users with disabilities. Men in Sheds £10,000 to secure and equip workshop premises. Selsey First Responders £20,000 towards the cost of a vehicle replacement. Youth Dream £25,000 to help continue to support and enhance their youth work activities. Selsey Town Council £3,500 to take forward a suggestion by a member of the public to install free Wi-Fi access through the High Street. Cheques were presented to representatives from the groups at the annual town meeting on April the 20th, 2016 at the Town Hall. The Community Fund panel will monitor and review the progress of the various projects, and updates will follow over the year.
And thank you for that, Joan. There's a lot of worthy causes, getting a few bob to help them out there, and the benefits to the community, of course. Now, in case you thought I was just out there in the sunshine, laying on my back, having an occasional cold beer and sunning myself, I was actually working, you know. I was there to pick up some recipes. Well, that's my story anyway. And I came back with a couple of very nice recipes. And the first one is for a gazpacho. And for those of you that don't know, gazpacho is a cold soup. And if, like me, you turned your nose up as soon as you heard that, well, you actually want to give it a try. They're excellent. And this one's called salmorejo, and it's similar to a traditional tomato gazpacho, but richer and smoother. And this will serve 6, and it's very easy to prepare. And you want to serve it with some country-style bread or some plain rolls, even something like that you can get from the bakers. Go in the local bakers, ask them for some country-style bread. If not, a sourdough bread's very good. So if they've got that, well, that'll do you as well. As I say, this will serve 6, and this is what we need. 6 tomatoes, coarsely chopped, 2 cloves of garlic chopped, and a 1/4 cup of sherry vinegar. And we also want 1 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoonful of salt, 2 day-old country-style bread rolls, about 3 ounces each, torn into pieces and soaked in 1 cup of water for 10 minutes, or 2 fresh rolls torn into pieces, 1 egg yolk, and that's optional, 3 hard-boiled eggs, peeled and finely chopped, and 3 ounces of Spanish ham, also finely chopped. And this is what we do. In a large bowl, combine the tomatoes, the garlic, vinegar, olive oil, salt, and the soaked bread, and any remaining water or fresh bread, and mix it all well up. And then, working in batches if necessary, add the tomato mixture to a blender or food processor and process at high speed until it's nice and smooth. Now, for an especially smooth texture, pass the pureed mixture through a food mill fitted with a medium plate, and then, if desired, return it to the blender or processor, add the egg yolk, and process until thoroughly incorporated. Now, transfer this to a bowl, cover, and refrigerate for at least 4 hours until well chilled. And just before serving, taste the soup and adjust the seasoning with some salt. Ladle into chilled soup plates, garnish with the chopped eggs and ham, and serve. Simple, delicious gazpacho, salmorejo. Now, it's well documented that I'm not a particular lover of dogs, but I did notice in Selsey Life this month a very interesting article from Downland Veterinary Group about a potentially fatal tick-borne disease affecting dogs in the UK. And this has got its foot in the door by all accounts, but you might well be careful with your animals. It's called canine babesiosis, and it's a disease that's transmitted by ticks and is relatively common in Europe. Now, of course, with all the travel backwards and forwards now between UK and Europe, and the borders being as open as they are at the minute, it's a far greater chance of getting into the country. Now, isolated cases have been identified in the UK in dogs that have a history of travel to Europe, where infected ticks were encountered, and that transmitted the disease. 4 dogs that have never travelled outside the UK's borders were recently diagnosed with babesiosis in Harlow in Essex. And these dogs acquired infection from local ticks with Dermacentor reticulatus. These ticks being the species that have been implicated in this. Now, it's currently not known how this parasite entered the English tick population, but it's here. Canine babesiosis is caused by the single-cell Babesia canis parasite, which invades the dog's red blood cells, and the animals become anemic and can also show signs of weakness, nausea, jaundice, and dark-coloured urine. Complications can also occur and damage organs such as the liver, the kidneys, and even the brain. And this disease, of course, then can unfortunately be fatal. Now, disease can be prevented by using tick control on your dogs to prevent ticks from attaching and feeding on them. And your vet can advise you on appropriate products to use. It's particularly important to discuss tick control with your vet if you intend to travel with your pet outside of the UK borders. And of course, this is happening more and more often nowadays. This focus on infected ticks appears to be localised at the present, but the government's Animal and Plant Health Agency is doing work to survey ticks in the UK, so they're going to keep an eye on them just to see what's happening. The disease is spread by tick bite, and it will not spread directly between dogs or affect humans, but if a dog's got ticks and those ticks get onto your dog, then that could be the beginning of something very nasty. So if you do travel abroad and you do take your dog with you, Of course, there are other diseases out there that we've been keeping at bay for years, but this is one that's just come to light. At the moment, it's in its infancy in this country, and we'd like to keep it that way. So if you're a dog owner, be very, very careful if you're in contact with the dog that goes abroad regularly, or indeed if you take your dog abroad. And now, on a lighter note, we've got Kevin's quiz, or Kevin's Connection quiz as it's rightly called. And once again, there'll be some questions and there'll be a link to all the answers. And the answers you will get next week, because I'm not going on holiday for another month at least. Right, here we go, Kevin.
Right, hi, my name's Kevin. I've got this week's Kevin's Connection quiz. 5 questions that something connects all the answers. What is that connection? Right, question number 1 is this. Which singer, and now actress, played the part of Rose Tyler in Doctor Who? Question number 2, snooker question. The Maltese snooker player Tony Drago was known by what nickname? Question number 3, television. Which romantic drama TV series set in West Yorkshire stars Sarah Lancashire and Derek Jacobi? Or is that Sir Derek Jacobi? Question number 4. Which film was Oliver Reed's final film? He starred opposite Russell Crowe, who played the main character. And question number 5, astronomy. Which astronomical body gets its name from the Latin for long-haired star? Good luck with those.
Thanks, Kevin. I'm going to start looking up the answers to this straight away. Right, and time to look at the weather for the coming week. Well, Monday's going to be a nice dry day and some broken cloud and sunshine. High of 19 degrees, and it's quite warm. Tuesday, much the same, very dry. Temperature dropping a couple of degrees down to about 17. Wednesday, well, unfortunately, Wednesday is going to be wet. And there's a possibility of some thunder and lightning as well. So temperature around 16 degrees, so not much movement in the temperature, but a lot of movement in the rain. Thursday, well, Thursday should be dry, just a 20% chance of a shower, but should be dry. And that's 17 degrees. Friday, well, unfortunately, Friday goes up to 60% chance of a drop of rain and temperature of 16 degrees. And Saturday, a 40% chance of a drop of rain and the temperature at 17 degrees. So a fairly even temperature throughout the week. Tomorrow being the warmest day, or Monday being the warmest day. Wednesday's a day to stay indoors, and the rest of the week not looking too bad. And that's it for this week. And indeed, that is it for this week. I'd just like to say on behalf of the team, myself, that's Tony and Joan and John Mallet and John Fletcher, our producer, and myself, Keith Barnes, we'd like to thank you for joining us and join us again soon. Goodbye now.